It's just still, you just kind of got to pinch yourself when you hear that 26 shots. It was, that didn't happen very often in our sport. But when you have that many people playing well, that's possible. Katza had a great individual week. Vanessa had a great individual week. And then, everybody collectively really played good behind them. You're curious if the play six, count five inflates that. But man, I haven't been a part of very many weeks like that and at a venue that's just that one will stick with me for a very long time. And we have a quick turnaround going this Friday. We head up to Northern Michigan to play our next tournament, which I'm excited that we just kind of keep hopefully the momentum going from this weekend.
We'll start in the back with Donna on the far left.
Coach, obviously off to a hot start, and
Yeah.
then you mentioned about wondering if you'd be able to keep that up throughout the weekend. I guess just how pleased were you with the fact that your team didn't take their foot off the gas?
Yeah, that's the biggest question mark. Probably once I saw that, you kind of know when you're going to have a good week. You didn't know if that was going to equal a win, but once we got into after Saturday and we increased our lead from Friday, my curiosity is just how are we going to be in that moment Sunday with a big lead, small lead, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of preseason hype, and you don't know if that's in their head and feeling like they've got to answer. But, we tied for the lowest round of the day. Was looking on the plane flight home this morning that, we played our last 5 holes well under par. Out of the 5 counting scores, 4 of them were under par in the back 9. So that tells me that there wasn't any relaxing. They were still fighting all the way to the end. So I'm proud of that because that comes from within them. So yeah, I was more impressed yesterday than I was probably for the whole week.
And then Kata taking home the individual title. Last week you talked about how she kind of came in with such high expectations that she could
Yeah.
only really go down from there. But
Yeah.
how rewarding is it to see her start to find that consistent success that you thought she'd have coming in?
For sure, and I wouldn't say that was her best either. There's still a lot of things that she can clean up and work on from this week. Interesting story. Live scoring really had her scoring wrong. It was showing that there was 3 tied with Vanessa and Kata to play 18. I think Kata birdied 17 to get in that mix, and so she's walking up in her sweet fashion. She's running a little hot because she hasn't converted a lot of putts that she had thought she should. And so try to calm her down and like, hey, you hit this wedge shot close, make a putt, you're going to be in the lead by 1. And she hits a great wedge shot and hits an amazing putt that just hits the high side of the hole and barely lips out. So I'm like, oh man, finally got her calm down that moment. She hits 2 great shots and then walk off. I think Vanessa's coming up and she hits it greenside on a par 5 in 2 and has a little wedge and a putt for birdie and didn't convert, makes par. And so I'm thinking there's going to be a playoff. And so walk over and one of the scorers said, no, there's actually, Kata's leading by 1. I'm like, oh, they must have had live scoring wrong. So just crazy. That doesn't happen in very many sports, I don't think. As soon as there's a scoreboard wrong in the stands, right away, from Little League all the way up to our level. But crazy enough that scores were wrong. And so thankful she didn't have to go in a playoff.
Okay, we'll go down here to Alex.
You mentioned a weekend to remember, and you kind of
Yeah.
touched on this, but just what was the most impressive thing from your team this weekend?
Well, start to finish, we had a lot of family and friends there. And when Natalie was the first off on Friday, it was loud. That was probably the loudest I've ever heard a first tee for us, just from a regular season event. So it actually, she's about to hit, and just you hear the whoops and cheering behind. And it's like kind of startled me because we're in California. But just knowing her, we could kind of control our lineup, and I knew she would get off to a great start even as a freshman. So seeing her just stripe that first tee shot, and everybody looked so comfortable out of the gate. I think we were 12 under through 6 holes. So I was like, oh man, like they're ready to go. And so for us, for Allison and I, like we probably could have screwed things up more than helped this week. So luckily we had a beautiful backdrop with Pebble Beach, and it's just a special week. We get to travel 6, so you get some extra reps, and we had so many people there. Got to do some dinners at John and Debbie Bethencourt's house. So it's just so special. You stay on property. It's easy from logistics. And then when you top it off with that performance, it will just stick with you for a very long time.
I was going to ask, how'd y'all celebrate, and did you get to do any fun Pebble Beach things?
Yeah,
that
we
you like to do?
we went into town. Obviously, a lot of great pictures. A lot of we had a lunch on the lawn, and we were on a red eye, so we really got to celebrate and stay around for a while. Normally, we're packing while they're announcing who wins, and so it was just nice to truly be able to just take a minute and appreciate what happened. We're going to do a team dinner at the house tomorrow night, and something that I'm trying to do better is celebrate those moments, because we just have to turn the page so quickly that I feel like it'll be better for all of us. What we did is very, very hard to do. Winning a golf tournament means normally you're beating in this field 8, but sometimes 15 other teams. So just need to cherish those moments a little bit better.
We'll go back behind the lights to Donna and then to Tyler.
Both of or two of your freshmen finished in the
Yeah.
top 15. I guess just how pleased are you with their start? And I know obviously they also have high expectations coming in, but to see it come to fruition right away, how does that feel to get the team going?
It, I think, in a lot of ways validates a little bit of the hype from that class coming in. But it was just, those young ladies have played a lot of golf. But the interesting thing this week was a lot of firsts, just from a team standpoint, how we are around them in a practice round, how we're around them on a golf course, things that we do before. And in some ways, you kind of have to conform with the team and go with the flow. Yes, it is an individual sport with a team concept. So I was pleased with how they adapted to everything we did, because we don't have a scrimmage or do anything at home. There's live ammunition going starting Friday. So I was really pleased with how well they adapted and how they plugged in and just asked great questions, and their just total awareness was very impressive.
Gerrod, this team's had recent success in the postseason, but still a lot of new faces in this team. What kind of confidence does this give early on of maybe showing them what they are capable of down the stretch?
Yeah, I think in a way, the thing that I'm going to love, it just once again raises the bar. Like the young ladies that didn't get to travel now look like, man, I'm going to have to go play well and make up some ground at home. But it's just, I think I've learned from the bunch that we had a couple years ago that were just amazing, that I want to help them stay present. And let's enjoy today. Like everybody yesterday was worrying about what we're going to do when we got home, qualifying this and that. Like, man, we need to celebrate today and really be patient and present and what's going on, and we'll worry about tomorrow. So, I think April and May are a very long ways away. I think, even with as dominant as we were, there are a lot of things that we can do to get better. And I hope that we're the bar, that everybody's comparing themselves to us instead of for these past 4 or 5 years we've been trying to catch everybody else. So I think we have the bones to that, and I guarantee you when I go to the office here in a little bit, there'll be girls out there practicing. So I think that only helps.
We'll come back to the front on the left to Alex.
Yeah, you mentioned still things to improve on.
Yeah.
What are those little things that after even a strong weekend like that?
It's still even just the little stuff. We had some scoring things where I didn't think we took advantage of some easy holes. And at Pebble, there's a couple shots you just have to hit. There's no margin of error. Like, you just have to hit this shot. And I know when we get to postseason, there'll be that kind of premium on some shots that we have to hit. And you could just see the little bit of lack of commitment and focus to that. It was different. We actually had caddies there too, and they couldn't say anything. So it's just, I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but I just still think and it's not the perfectionist in me. It's just every girl would tell you there's a lot of things that they could do. But there could be a lot more, but there wasn't. I think we'll have a few things that we'll work on to get prepared for Northern Michigan, and then it's going to be nice. We have 3 weeks after that we can truly peel back some layers and work on some stuff for this last push in the fall. But mainly maybe just little scoring errors and just a couple of key shots was.
I feel like last week you said that if players finish in the top 15 or 20, they might automatically get to be on the team for this week. You got 5 that had finished in the top. So how's that going to shake out?
Oh, man, you're just like one of the girls asking how we're going to do qualifying. I still haven't got there yet. I just, I think we just having the luxury of this depth, I want them to compete. And, I still think these young players, although that they played well this week, they can be better. And the only way to get that out of them is have them come back and compete. I don't know what that looks like, but you could easily get very complacent with we won our first tournament by 26 shots and we take a breath, but we've just put a bigger target on our back. So we'll find a way to be competitive this week. Obviously, Kata and Vanessa have earned a ticket to Northern Michigan, but we'll figure out what the back half of the lineup looks like. And Louise Rowe, our transfer, got cleared today, so she'll be able to compete this week too. So I'm excited to see how she looks in the mix as well. But I think we'll be ready to go come next Monday.
And just last one for me, just what's kind of the outlook of the field of the next tournament they are going to?
It's interesting. So this one is the Folds of Honor. It'll be on the Golf Channel Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This tournament in particular, Texas A&M, the Folds of Honor is they raise scholarship money for dependents of fallen soldiers. And as of really this past spring, there was over 700 scholarship recipients. And it was we are the leading school by, 500-600 scholarships. So I want to raise awareness to that we needed to get involved in some way, shape, or form. So I'm excited to go up there and be a part of that as the university is represented in that fashion, that we have representation in this tournament. In a sense to the field, I think last year it was very strong. What's happening in our sport is now it's the 500 rule where your win-loss record is what gets you into postseason. So I think the field is getting a little bit more diverse. So I think you'd probably see 10, 12 really strong teams, and you'll have 3 to 5 teams that might not quite be a shoe-in for postseason, but it'll be strong nonetheless.